Hi, and welcome to the online version of the course Law 12.0. I'm Alan Steves, and I'll be your online facilitator this semester. For one reason or another, you've chosen to take this course. It's offered online, and this may be the first time that you've taken a course online. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the ins and outs of the learning management system, as you see here on the screen. Once you've logged into the system, which we call D2L, D2L will turn into this course. Basically what you're looking at here as a student, you'll see here at the top, My Home, which brings you out of the course, and this course. And this should be the only one that you have unless you have other courses. You may see them in the drop down here. You'll have a menu. We'll cover that in a second. And I have some other links that I've added here, and these are subject to change. And you'll see something here called Updates and News. Now, what you can do with this is you can minimize it, but the problem with that is you'll miss updates. In other words, if I've marked one of your assignments, you may not know if I marked it or not. And if it needs some work, you may have gotten a 5 on 20. There are times when I would allow you to fix what you've made mistakes on, and, well, you won't know about it. Another part here, so keep updates open. Another part that you have here is called News, and I'm going to use this quite often in terms of keeping you up to date with what should be done in the course on a weekly basis, as well as other information that I would find to be newsworthy. Now, when you get new updates or news, you'll see over here there's 3 icons. Well, you'll see that there'll be a little red dot here. So you click on it, and you'll see that in my case, I had a red dot alerting me to this and knowing that I had some news items that were posted or some calendar items, upcoming assignments that needed to be done, and so on and so forth. Now over here there's a little envelope, and it's called Message Alerts. This will also show with a red dot, and that will alert you when you have a pager message. Many students prefer paging me as opposed to coming into another room that I'll show you here in a little bit, but paging me, sending me a quick pager message to ask me a question. And to access the pager, you'll see messages here, but over here is where you go to the pager if you wanted to type a new message to me. What you would do is you would go into your friends list, and I'm going to show you how to add me to your friends list. But you add me to your friends list, you'll find me, I'll just pick one here, and you send a message and click send. You just type it out, click send, and you're good to go. And when I respond to you, you'll see that there's a little red dot that'll show up here indicating that you've received a message. We'll talk about this some more if need be. And over here, whenever there's a discussion that has happened and you have subscribed to the discussion, you'll get a little red dot here, which will bring you to the discussions area of the course. This is from another course, but nevertheless, if you've subscribed to the discussion, you'll see that you may have received a reply to one of your posts. Anytime you want to refresh the page, I'm on the wrong course, but anytime you want to refresh the page, just come right back here to the name of your course. Now over here you have content. This is one of the places where you're going to go the most, and this is where you find the information, the content from the course, basically your online textbook. And so this course is divided into 5 modules. Of course, it starts with the syllabus that has a few pages, but then modules 1 through 5. And I will add some other elements of law, such as international law, probate law, stuff like that as the course progresses. But I may not put it into the course content. We may end up having a discussion about different facets of law. But once you've gone into, first thing you're going to do really is you're going to go into Syllabus. You'll start with the welcome message. Here it is. And to navigate through the course, you'll click on these buttons here to go from page to page. And what I recommend you do is that I'm going back, but is that you at the end of a course or the end of the day, why not click on this button here called Add Bookmark. Now once you've done that, and I leave the course, and I exit and I come back tomorrow, you'll notice that you'll have a section here called Bookmarks, and you can go directly to where you left off. And so that's handy. And once you're there, you can turn the bookmark off, move ahead that day. I'll just click on something here. Bookmark that. We're at the end of the day, so I'm ready to leave. And tomorrow when I come in, that will be bookmarked. If you don't turn off the bookmark for those pages, what'll happen is that you'll end up having quite a list of bookmarks here. You can also access your bookmarks right here. Okay, so coming back to the content, I'll go to any old page here. What you can do is if you find errors in the page, or you find that maybe the page isn't well written, or that it's lacking in information, or that it's just confusing, what I would invite you to do is to submit feedback for some of these pages. If you don't like what you're reading, if you think it should be written in another way, if you think something's missing or a link is broken, click on Submit Feedback. You have to choose stars. Of course, I'm going to choose 5 stars. They're chosen now. And I'll write something like, there is a broken link here. And you can make this anonymous or not. Now, if you don't make it anonymous, there's no problem. We'll get the information, and if it was something that I could help you with, I could come back and tell you, hey, by the way, this is fixed. Thanks for doing this. And then I would submit this. It's as simple as that. Now, the last thing about the content pages is this read speaker that's available. For those of you who may have some issues reading, what you can do is that you can press the read speaker button to play, and what'll happen,
the foundation of Canada's legal system.
You can't hear it now.
The importance and necessity of laws.
But it is
Canadian
reading
flag. By our very
the
nature,
page, word
human
by
beings
word,
are social creatures.
and it's also
We
helping
interact
you
with
kind
other
of
people at school, at
keep
home,
track of what's
at the
being
store,
read.
during
So
leisure
it's very
activities
visual as
and
well.
at work. We
And so
usually
you can
get
stop that any time. You can change the highlighting. You can change different settings, colors. You can change the speed and other things like that. So mess around with that, and you can also download the MP3. This hasn't been used very much, but if you think you need it, it's here for you. So that's about it for content, other than it says you have viewed this topic, so you'll know that you've already been here. You can also print a page out. Now what you can do if you want to navigate back and forth, rather than going back page by page, you can click on this breadcrumb here. So basically we're into this page here, but I can go back to the very first, well, basically the heading for the module. So I go back here and I could move around and go to another page. The pages that you do visit will show you a check mark. What I also see on my end is I'll see if you've actually read a page and if you've spent any time there at all, if you've visited it more than once, and so on and so forth. So if you have a question that comes up later on about the types of laws, and it came up maybe on a quiz or something or on an assignment, and I see that you haven't visited the page, of course I'm not going to be very forthcoming with an answer. Now, we look here that we've made it this far through the course, 5 out of 43 topics completed. And notice that it sort of ends here well, then you can load more and load more and load more. What I strongly suggest you to do is to go through every page at least once. It's one thing to read it, and it's another thing to understand it. Now, on some pages you'll have some interactive activities, such as this. This is not necessarily interactive, but it's a button that sort of opens up more information. And what happens with this is you may be using a browser that this doesn't work in. Now, I'm using Chrome right now. The recommended browser to use is Internet Explorer. However, this is working pretty good in Chrome right now, but it's possible that I get to a page where there's an actual activity where I need to pull, let's say it's a matching activity, okay? And I need to pull things around, and you may have a big blank space here on the page. If that happens, try switching browsers, okay? For some reason, some of our content does not work with all browsers, but it should all work with Internet Explorer. And again, if you get there, let me know if something's not working, but also, why not submit feedback and say, I'm using Chrome, I'm using Safari, and I don't see what I think I should be seeing here. And so that'll help us identify problems and maybe get to them before other students get there. All right, I'm kind of dragging on here, but that's how content works for the most part. Now over here you have a checklist. And the checklist tool, I strongly recommend you use it. When I give you a class mark, which is worth 10% of your total mark at the end of the year, I'll be making sure that you've gone through your checklist. And so the checklist will give you a general idea of what should be done every week. Now in this case, it's not telling you to read from a certain page to another page. However, it's telling you what assignments should be done. And so it's assumed that you're going to make it to the pages previous to this assignment. And so just to check them off, away you go and you're good to go. And so that's how the checklist works. Now grades, you'll see your grades as you receive them. Let's say the first assignment here is worth 15 points. You'll see your grade here. And the total weight towards all of the assignments from this category, every assignment in this case has an equal weight. Even if this one was said 28 points and this one was 15 points, they're all worth the same. And so you'd get 1.82 sort of points towards this 40. And so assignments are worth 40%. Tests are worth 30%, so we're up to 70. Your final exam is worth 20%, and your work ethic and class mark is worth 10%. You'll notice down here that you get bonus marks for submitting your scavenger hunt quiz. So at the beginning you'll do a scavenger hunt quiz and your student information sheet. And those are this is a quiz, and this is submitted through the Dropbox. And we'll talk about Dropboxes right now. Under the assessments menu, you'll have self-assessments, and I'll be building some of these. Right now there should only be one, but I'll be building these throughout the course so that you can figure out if you understand or not. There's also the Dropbox, and you'll be going here a lot. When it's time to upload let's say your student information sheet, and you can see if you've submitted anything, but basically you would select this, you would add your file, so you'll be saving your file somewhere on your computer, on your student drive or what have you, and I'll just pick something here, I'll just pick this here, and basically what will happen is you'll upload Word documents or PDF documents, well, pretty much those, sometimes images, but I think in this course it'll be mostly Word documents. You'll add them, and then you can add a comment. Here's my assignment. And you submit it. And you'll get a confirmation email sent to your school email. If you're not sure if you've submitted it, that's how you know. Another way of knowing is going back to Dropbox and seeing that you've actually submitted it. You'll get feedback from me eventually, usually within 2 days. It might be a heavy semester, so it could go 3 or 4 days, but I'm going to try and get everything marked within 2 days. You'll also see due dates here. And now I haven't populated this yet, but you don't have the whole semester to submit the student information sheet. You're not going to have until May to submit the first assignment. I'll be throwing in some due dates here, and we'll talk about this later. And this is only page 1 of 2. So that's how the Dropbox works. Grades are here again. Now, when it's time to do a quiz, and quizzes can also be called tests, there are quite a few quizzes here, and they add up, but you'll find them here under the assessments menu. And if I start a quiz, a password is required. You're required to get this password, or to have your, I should say, to get your local facilitator, that's the teacher at your school, to type in the password for you. And so, once you have the password, you start the quiz, and if you don't have it, it'll give you this, but the quiz will look similar to this page where you basically try and choose the right answers or enter right answers. And so, that's quizzes. Surveys, there's a first survey, there's a midpoint survey, there'll be one at the end, and I will probably add a couple surveys here asking you for your feedback on how the course is going. If there are problems with the course, not problems with you, but problems with the course, I'd like to know about them. And if I know about them, then I can probably fix them. And so that's where surveys will come in. And then you'll have your user progress. You'll see, you basically can see what content you visited and stuff like that. Anyways, that's assessments. I know the video is dragging on now, but we have communication. We probably won't use the blog. We're not going to use the chat room, but we will use discussions and we will use the pager. Now, I'll skip these for now and bring you here to email. Email, we're not going to use this email program. It does not work in terms of sending things out for some reason, and it never has. So what you need to do for your email is just, well, like you would do at school, you would type in student.nbed.nb.ca, and you may have gotten this one, but I find what I just typed was quicker, student.nbed.nb.ca. You'll log in with your NBSS, your username, your password, and that's what you'll use for email. So I'm going to get out of this. Anyway, I could go anywhere at all. News, we've already seen the news here on the main page. We won't have to go anywhere else here. And we've looked at the pager. Now under resources here, I would get you to focus your attention here. You already have content. The calendar you'll see on the main page. The checklist you had here. The FAQ might come in handy. And also the glossary. And so the glossary, I'll be populating this throughout the semester. I try to throw in terms that will come in handy if you weren't quite sure what they meant. Of course, Wikipedia can help you out just as much, but be careful in terms of getting the definition correct for Canadian law and not, say, American law or a law from another jurisdiction. I try to throw in videos here as I find them, videos that help explain what each one of these terms mean. And so again, I'll be populating this, I'll be building this throughout the semester, and so if you don't find something here today, it may be here tomorrow. And this opens up in a whole new page, a whole new window. You can close that anytime. Links, I'm going to throw some links here too. I don't have them here yet, although I've started with these links here. And you're good to go here. Now, when you would like to meet with me, online, live, all students are required to have a headset. So that's a headphones, well, basically one of these, but you can go with a cheap set. Doesn't have to be wireless, of course. Just a cheap set of headphones or a headset with a mic. And then you can communicate with me. And oftentimes I will ask you to speak as opposed to type because it'll be quicker. So when you click on Adobe Connect, you'll be brought to something that looks like this, although before you do, you'll be asked to enter as a guest. So enter with your name as a guest. I will get a pop-up telling me that you're waiting to get in, and that's if the room is open. It's not always open, but quite often. So I'll get a pop-up telling me that you'd like to come in, and then we can start talking. And I'll use my microphone, and I would recommend that you use your microphone as well, although it's not recommended at the very beginning. Okay, whether or not you have a headset the first or second week, that's not terribly important. Just come and see me anyways. And so that's what Adobe Connect is. Other than that, I covered a lot of this stuff. You'll have a calendar down here. You'll also have settings. So with your settings, what you can do is you can change your avatar. Now, I'm not quite clicking on it here. This is notification, so it shouldn't be here. But what you can do, no, it's not my email settings. But anyways, what I'll do is you'll end up figuring this out. But in any event, there's a way that you can change. Actually, I think it's up here for you. Mine shows a little bit different. I believe yours is up here, and there's like a little cog or something up here, a little icon. And by clicking on that, you can change your avatar. In other words, go from a blank avatar to something like this. Other than that, I think we're good to go. So if you have any questions, you'll be doing your scavenger hunt early. One of the first things you do in the course, and also submit your student information sheet. But play around with this the first and second week. You're not supposed to understand all of this right away, but this will start falling into place, and within a couple of weeks you'll be pretty good at getting around the course and understanding how it works. So that's the end for me. The next video that I'm going to create is I'm going to start really talking about what law is, the introduction to law, and helping you understand Module 1.